Hello, hello. So it is time for another weekly wrap up. Technically, it's Monday, but this is the weekly wrap up for Sunday, September. I said July. It's not July. September 17th, 2023. So I read 7 books this past week. I've been keeping pretty steady with that number. I do need to pick it up a little. I realize this. I know that this December, when Christmas break hits, I'm just gonna be reading. But let's get into it. First up, I did finish up The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling. This is a science fiction horror novel. It follows this group of people. Well, not the group of people. There's 2 people. It follows this woman who is going down in this cave. It's this very privatized expedition in this cave, and it's on a different planet. And the person who sent her down there is very secretive, and there's a lot of danger, and it's genuinely creepy at times. I really enjoyed how it was set up, and I really enjoyed the writing. It's compared to both Annihilation and The Martian on the back here, which I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've read The Martian, but I guess it's the sci-fi element, and the Annihilation I can kind of see because it's really creepy. But no, it was really decent. It was really decently put together. I very much enjoyed it. I'm not a huge sci-fi person, but the horror elements were enough to keep me. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. After that, I read a book I did not like quite so much. That is the 2nd volume of Cast Heaven by Chise Ogawa, and I don't really want to recommend this book. So this is a series. It's a BL series, and it's about this high school where they play this game with these cards, and every so often they go and they have to find a card, and higher cards mean that you have more power in their little social hierarchy. And the concept of the first volume, is that the guy who had been the king, and he's a real dick, he ends up being betrayed by the person who'd been his advisor, and he gets the lowest card, and the advisor basically rapes him a bunch, is how it goes. I really like the main character, the guy who was a dick and who kept getting sexually assaulted in the first book and in this one. This one we start following a couple of other characters. These 2. This guy had previously been the target. He'd previously been lowest on the totem pole. I don't know. I enjoyed the first book. I don't know if I could say that it was good, but I enjoyed it. This one, not so much. I found a page that is not deeply inappropriate. I don't know. I give it 2 out of 5 stars. I do still intend to continue on with the series, at least for now. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep on with it, but I do intend, at least for now, to continue on with the series. We'll see. After that, I read a nonfiction book. It's a nonfiction book on my favorite fucking topic. It is a nonfiction book about the French Revolution. I read Fatal Purity by Ruth Skur. This is about Robespierre. He's not my favorite, but he did deal big in the Terror, which is my favorite. I'm more of a Danton, Desmoulins kind of person. But this was fine. I did notice that it was the most interesting when I got to the 2 chapters that were about the Terror. Granted, those 2 chapters were 100 pages, because the Terror is where we see a lot of this man. Obviously he was big in earlier parts of the Revolution too, but the Terror was his claim to fame, his big moment. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite book about the French Revolution I've ever read. I think that does have to be Paris and the Terror. I think Paris and the Terror is so much fun. And it's just so dramatic. The French Revolution was super dramatic. But I also want to reread the 12 Rules, because that was one that I had for my French Revolution class, which started this whole thing. But yeah, no, it was decent. It was good. I do want to go and read more books about the French Revolution. That's always my go-to nonfiction stuff, is the French Revolution. That is my thing, is the French Revolution. I love it. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read another nonfiction book. This one was not as good. This one sucked. This is The Reading Promise by Alice Ozma. This is about this woman talking about her life growing up. And the thing was, the supposed concept of this book was that her and her father made this promise to read together every night for 100 days, and then that extended, and eventually they read together for many years, which is great. I mean, that's a great tradition to have, is reading together. My father read to us when we were growing up. My mother read to us too, but my father did every night before bed for years, until we started getting too old and we wanted to read by ourselves because it was much faster than somebody reading to us. That was me. My brother liked to listen a lot longer, but I was always a faster reader than he was. So I got sick of it faster. I still, like, I can't do audiobooks. They're too slow for me. But the thing about this was that this woman clearly had so much fucking unresolved trauma. Like, she was clearly emotionally neglected for her entire childhood. Her mother left on Thanksgiving and it barely got like a fucking footnote. Like, her sister scrambled the hell out of there as soon as she could. And like, good on you, sister, because it was clearly just a completely messed up family dynamic. It was weird. It was weird to sit and read this. And she was so blasé about it all. It was so weird. It wasn't particularly well written either. It was okay. It wasn't very good. This is an adult book. It reads like a young adult or middle grade nonfiction. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. After that, I read What Do You Do in Quicksand by Lois Ruby. This is a young adult fiction novel from the late 70s. It follows these 2 characters. One of them is this girl who grew up, her mother is dead, and she lives with her mother's like octogenarian last husband. And then this boy whose one night stand had a baby and he decides to go take the baby and raise it himself. And then the girl is absolutely nuts. It was pretty much what you'd expect from this sort of thing. I mean, it met my expectations. It didn't surpass them. It didn't go under them. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. There was really nothing going on here. I mean, there was stuff going on, but there was nothing special. After that, I read a children's illustrated classic, and that is The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. I've never read the original story, and I will say if this made me want to do anything, it is read the original story. So this is a version of The Invisible Man that has been dumbed down and sanitized for children, and it's also got an illustration on every other page. It's about this man who turns himself invisible, and he goes on a crime rampage. It's hilarious, and I want to read the real story. 3 out of 5. Then the last book I read was another manga. This is for a series that I'm not actually actively reading. That's the 20th volume of Call Me Can't Communicate. From what I can gather, this is about this girl who has a lot of trouble communicating with people, and her making friends. It was okay. It was cute enough. I do, like I said, I'm not actively reading this one. I have not read the first 19 volumes. I'm really bad about that. I'm really bad at, especially with manga, about not reading it in order. Because I think a part of me views it as not serious reading, so I don't have to take it seriously enough and read it in order, which is not maybe the case. So for a series that I'm actively reading, like Cast Heaven, this is probably technically better than Cast Heaven, I'm not gonna lie. I will read it in order, but for a series that I'm not actively reading, I'll just pick up volume 20 out of nowhere. It was cute enough. The art style is cute enough. I saw that there was like a Netflix adaptation, which looks cute enough. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Currently, I just started, I haven't actually really started it, Order of the Phoenix. I got a ways to go. Did also read some V.C. Andrews today. Oh my god. It's hard to remember just like how actually good the books that were written by her were. Like, oh my god, shit was insane. I read Petals on the Wind, I read most of it today. Holy shit. Like, oh my, like I cannot with that. Oh my god. Anyway, these are the books I read this past week. That is all I have for today. I will talk to you later, and goodbye.